Welcome to Smart Remarks, where happiness is a warm gun, according to John Lennon and also maybe Adam Lanza. So welcome back to Smart Remarks. We've been gone for a couple weeks due to the holidays and vacations and all that. Lots been going on during that time. One of them, of course, being the shootings, the school shootings up in Sandy Hook, Connecticut, where a deranged gunman killed 20-some kids, teachers, his mother, and himself. A lot's been said about gun control between then and now. There's a lot of bills pending in some state legislatures, and Obama himself might take up the issue of gun control now that the fiscal cliff can has been kicked down the road. But I want to highlight something I saw on Facebook just this morning because it dovetails with a whole bunch of national stories I've seen about how, in the wake of Sandy Hook, gun aficionados have been flocking to gun stores to stock up on even more weapons. A guy I know on Facebook wrote about how over the weekend he stopped at a local gun shop right here in Lancaster County and the line was practically out the door. And I thought to myself, why? Why is this? Who are these people? Are they people who don't own a weapon and fear now that the government will make it so that they can't get a hold of one? Is it people who maybe want a semi-automatic rifle and who fear Congress is now going to pass legislation that will make getting one impossible? Or are we talking about people who already own 5, 10, 15 firearms, maybe a mix of Glocks and Bushmasters or whatever, who are now trying to get their hands on even more weaponry because of tyranny and the government and outrage and fear? I'll be charitable and say that only a tiny, minuscule fraction of a percentage of those who flock to gun shops in the wake of all this would ever use those weapons for nefarious purposes. But if you've got a house full of guns, and I know a few who do, what is it that triggers in your mind this reaction that, oh my God, I have to go get more because the government, I have to go get more? What is that? I just don't get it. That's a little bit of paranoia, among other things, because while there are some proposals out there that would ban all guns from private ownership, those proposals have about 0% chance of passing. We forget that gun owners have what might be the most powerful lobby in America on their side. Mark my words, proposals like that by Dianne Feinstein are not going to become law. At best, what we might get is legislation banning large capacity magazines. And that makes a lot of sense because, frankly, if Adam Lanza up in Connecticut had to reload more often, a whole bunch of those kids might still be alive. I know there's a lot of pro-gun people out there who think that they're keeping the government honest by owning weapons, as if they're going to forestall tyranny by owning a couple firearms. And that might have worked. That might have been operative back in revolutionary times, pre-modern America. But these days, you got a semi-automatic in your basement. Guess what? The government's got a tank. The government's got you outgunned, Patrick Henry. Give it up. You're not going to make the government fear you. You might make your neighbors fear you, though. I know a whole lot of gun owners. I'm related to a few gun owners. I've fired some pretty powerful weapons myself. I'm not someone who's against owning a gun for personal protection or for hunting or for target shooting or whatever it is. I don't think that's a bad thing. But I've also known some gun owners who, for example, always have to carry at least 2 on them wherever they go, because you never know. When we go to a restaurant, they have to sit facing the door, because you never know, while you and I might be prudent in our lives, it's always good to be prudent. It's another to expect that the worst is right around the corner. Again, it's borderline, or maybe it's not such borderline paranoia, because I think there's a very fine line between those who in the wake of Sandy Hook had to go out and buy more guns and full-bore survivalism. Where does that line stand? I really don't know, but isn't it odd that a person might amass an arsenal all with the hope that he's never going to have to use any of it?